This video tells the heartfelt story of love beyond boundaries, a tale of two souls from different worlds. In a bustling street market, the sweet aroma of fresh fruits mixed with the lively chatter of vendors and customers. Amidst the commotion stood Sofia, her long brown hair tied in a loose bun, wearing simple, worn clothes that reflected her humble life. Despite her modest appearance, her beauty was undeniable, her warm smile always welcoming as she worked at her family's fruit stall. "Thank you, Mrs. Evans. These apples are the freshest today," Sophia said, handing a basket of apples to an elderly woman. Her voice was as gentle as the late afternoon breeze. Just then, the noise of the market seemed to quiet momentarily as a sleek black car pulled up nearby. The door opened and out stepped Ethan, a young man with striking features, sharply dressed in an expensive suit that looked out of place in this part of town. His movements were rushed, his eyes fixed on his phone. Lost and frustrated, Ethan muttered to himself, "How did I end up here?" He approached Sophia's stall, still distracted by the map on his phone, and in his hurry, bumped into one of the crates of fruit, sending apples tumbling to the ground. "I'm so sorry." Ethan knelt down quickly, his face flushed with embarrassment. "I didn't mean to." Sophia knelt beside him, laughing softly as she began to gather the fallen apples. "It's okay. Not the first time someone's bumped into my apples." She smiled up at him, her eyes sparkling with kindness. Their hands brushed as they picked up the last of the apples, and for a moment, the world around them seemed to slow. Ethan looked into her eyes. A connection, brief but powerful, passed between them. And just like that, in the middle of the noisy market, something extraordinary had begun. Weeks passed, and that chance encounter turned into something neither of them expected. Hidden from the world, they found solace in each other's company, meeting in a quiet garden on the city's outskirts. Lush flowers bloomed all around them, the air filled with the scent of jasmine. It was a secret paradise where their differences melted away, leaving only the undeniable bond growing between them. "I never imagined I'd be friends with someone like you," Sophia admitted one afternoon, her voice soft, almost hesitant. "You're different. You come from a world I can't even dream of." Ethan gently took her hand in his touch warm and reassuring. "I don't care about that. I've never felt this way before. It's like nothing else matters when I'm with you." For a moment, Sophia smiled, but her happiness was fleeting. She pulled her hand back, her gaze dropping to the ground. "But it does matter, Ethan. Your family. They'd never accept me. I'm just the daughter of a fruit seller." Ethan's grip tightened, his determination clear. "Then we won't tell them. We'll keep this to ourselves, Sophia. I'll fight for you, no matter what." Though his words filled her with hope, Sophia couldn't shake the doubt gnawing at her heart. Could their love really survive the world waiting outside this garden? Back at the Montgomery mansion, Ethan's world couldn't have been more different. The grand dining room, with its towering windows and polished marble floors, was the epitome of wealth and status. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Montgomery, sat at the head of the long table, staring at their son in shock after he revealed his feelings for Sophia. "A fruit seller's daughter." Mrs. Montgomery's voice dripped with disdain. "Ethan, you cannot be serious. What would people think? Our family's reputation would be ruined." His father's expression was no less severe. "This is unacceptable," Mr. Montgomery stated, his voice cold and authoritative. "We have a legacy to protect. You cannot throw it all away for someone beneath your station." Ethan's face flushed with anger, his fists clenched at his sides. "You don't even know her. She's kind, smart, everything I've ever wanted in someone. Why does it matter where she comes from?" "Love doesn't pay the bills, Ethan," his mother replied bitterly. "Love won't secure your place in society." "I don't care about money or status," Ethan shot back, his voice rising. "I care about her." Mr. Montgomery's expression softened, but his words remained firm. If you choose her, you lose everything. Your inheritance, your position in the company, everything. The ultimatum hung heavy in the air. Without another word, Ethan stormed out, leaving behind the life he'd always known, unsure if he could have both love and family. That night, Ethan stood at Sofia's door, his heart in turmoil. She opened it, her concern immediately evident as she took in the look on his face. "Ethan, what happened?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "They've given me an ultimatum," he said, his voice strained. "If I stay with you, I lose everything, my family, my future. But if I lose you, I lose myself." Tears welled up in Sofia's eyes. She had feared this moment, but now that it was here, it hurt more than she could have imagined. "Ethan, you deserve better than this. A life where you don't have to struggle like I do. I don't want to be the reason you lose everything." "You are everything I need," Ethan said, stepping closer, desperation in his voice. "I don't care about the rest. I'll give it all up for you." Sofia shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. "It's not that simple. Your parents will never accept me. They'll make our lives miserable. Maybe it's better if we let go." "No!" Ethan's voice cracked with emotion. "Don't say that. I can't lose you. I won't." But even as he spoke, Sofia could see the pain in his eyes. She knew what he was sacrificing for her. And though it broke her heart, she stepped back. "Maybe it's time we both move on," she whispered, turning away as her tears fell silently. Days turned into weeks, and the absence of Sofia left a hollow in Ethan's life. He had lost everything: his wealth, his position, his family. But he hadn't lost her love. He was now working a modest job, far from the life of privilege he once knew. But something in him had changed. He had made his decision, and he was determined to live with it. One evening, as Sofia was closing up her fruit stall, Ethan appeared. His hair was messier, his clothes less pristine, but his eyes, those eyes she had fallen in love with, were the same, filled with determination and love. "I made my choice, Sofia," Ethan said, his voice soft but unwavering. "I chose us." Sofia stared at him, her breath caught in her throat. "Ethan, your family. I don't care about them anymore. I realized a life without you isn't a life I want to live. We'll make it work. Together." Tears of joy filled Sofia's eyes as she rushed into his arms. "I love you, Ethan," she whispered, her heart full once again. "And I love you," Ethan murmured, holding her tightly. "More than anything." Now, in a small, cozy apartment, Ethan and Sofia sat on the floor, unpacking the few belongings they had brought with them. The place was modest, but it was theirs, a fresh start in a life they were building together. "It's not much," Sofia said with a laugh, looking around at the bare walls and simple furniture. Ethan smiled as he looked at her, love shining in his eyes. "It's perfect." As they sat together, hand in hand, watching the sunset through the window, they knew they had chosen the harder path. But it was the right path. They had each other, and with that, they could face whatever came next. "As long as we have each other," Ethan said softly, "we can face anything." Sofia nodded, her heart full of hope and love. Together. And together they would face the world, their love a beacon guiding them forward. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.